how do we sell and take advantage of the summer market, Lance? Like here we are, late spring, early summer, temperatures start to rise, people are outside more. And even with that being the case, being seasonal like that, the number one thing that I wrote down, 3 of the 4 that I went into the appointment with, the first thing they say when I walk in the door, because a couple of these were expired listings that didn't sell with other firms. And the first thing I walk in the door before I can even start the appointment is the seller opens the door and says, "It's not the price. It's not the price." Like that's the number one thing. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Actually, and this is rare, one of the 3 was right. The other 2, it had a lot to do with price. Oh. But one of the 3 was right. So what you have to do with people, and I just tell them, I'm very honest with people, and I told the last seller 2 days ago, look, do you want to hire me for my opinion and my help, or do you just want me to make you feel good right now and sugarcoat it? And so, this particular person was a very straight shooter. I call them drivers, quick decisions. And he's like, just tell it to me like it is, Lance. And I said, okay, well, this happened to be one of the ones. Like, look, there's a price issue here. Like, and here's why I think there's a price issue. Here's the research that says why. And then I say, no great marketing plan. Like, I will provide you the best marketing plan. And no great marketing plan is going to overcome a bad price. Yeah. And so we talked about that a lot. And we went over a lot of data. We had, 10 amazing comps and a lot of work went into it. And, we're starting at a point where now we have the right price and the right marketing plan. So that price discussion, regardless of summer market, I'm telling you that in the summer market, you still have to look at that price discussion. The number 2 point I'm going to bring up, I'm going to give you a little perspective here. So my team was in 600 homes across the Tri-Cities in the last 2 weeks. Wow. Now that's partly because we have a property management division. We do inspections for our owners. And so we're in all of these houses. So I probably see the interiors of more houses than any other real estate team in the Columbia Basin. So one of the things we're doing, John, in that situation is we are looking for compliance notices or compliance issues with homes this type of year. What do you think the number 1 item was for non-compliance in the 600 homes that we were in?
The yard work was overgrown and messy.
You nailed
it.
It's like
fire hazard.
It's like you've been doing the show with me for years. Number 1 compliance issue that we see when we're in this many homes is lawn care, yard, and weeds. Okay. And this is the exact same thing that translates to poor sales prices in the late spring and summer market. It sneaks up on people. They don't get the fertilizer down, the weed and feed down when they should have. And it is probably the cheapest dollar for dollar thing that you can do this time of year.
Just go out and edge and mow.
I can take a horrible house that should not show well. And if the yard looks perfect and is well taken care of when it comes up, people will overlook a lot of the other issues. But if the first thing you see when you drive up is a ill taken care of yard in that situation, it immediately sets buyers off that is how the rest of the property has been maintained. And then the other thing that I point out in there, just for fun, our number 2 biggest compliance issue is what I call unauthorized occupants. And they're not only humans. This is what I'm talking about, is like people are supposed to have 1 cat on their lease. And so you show up and, your Johnny the cat suddenly has a friend. And that second friend is not on the lease. And so unauthorized cats or dogs. And we do occasionally find unauthorized humans as well, where 2 people were on the lease, and then suddenly you see like 4 beds and extra beds set up in the living room. Those are occupancy issues that violate lease terms. So So those are some of the big things. The other thing I tell people right now is this time of year, you have what I call free square footage. If you have a 1,200 square foot house, it feels like a 1,200 square foot house. And if there's no patio, that's how it's going to feel. If you have a 1,200 square foot house that has a nice pergola out back and it has another 400 square foot patio and it's set up with a table where people eat and they go outside and they barbecue, you're naturally expanding how that house feels. And this time of year, buyers open that slider and they go out and they stand on that patio and they envision themselves there. So you're getting free square footage. So you've got to stage the patio, properly stage the patio, properly stage the pool areas, and you're giving yourself free square footage. Because if you were selling that house 4 months ago and it's freezing, it's crazy how this works.
Yeah.
But the buyer might not even go out in the backyard. We sell homes in the winter all the time. They look out the back slider, and if they do go outside, they don't spend a lot of time out there.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much time this time of year in nice yards and well-staged patios and pools, how much time we spend outside in the backyard with the buyers. It's, in many cases, sometimes it's longer than we're actually in the house. And so you really have to be prepared this time of year to make those type of sales situations. Next thing on my list was marketing. Where are the transfer buyers coming from? Because they're coming right now. So are you marketing on the social media channels to get the buyers that are coming from Seattle, Portland, Tennessee, Arizona? Those buyers have been waiting for their kids to get out of school. Once their kids get out of school, then they're going to make a buy decision and they're going to make that transfer and move during the summer because they do not want to move their kids mid-school year. So we get a natural big influx of buyers right now. And so you've got to make sure, how are they hearing about your house? And you can't just be on one platform. You can't just be on Instagram, because what are you going to do? Ignore all the buyers that are on TikTok? Then ignore all the old people like me on Facebook, right? So you've got to hit Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, Threads, Zillow. Okay, you have to be in these situations so that these transfer buyers are being seen. And it was funny. I was meeting with a builder earlier in the week, and he said, "Lance, I don't even want to have to think about all this stuff. You're making my head hurt right now just talking about. I just want to build the house." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, well, that's why you're hiring me." And that's what we're gonna talk about. And then the very last item that I put down was location. So if you don't like the price of your house, change the location. Just kidding. You can't do that. Right? Okay, but that's the joke that's not a joke, because you have to price it for the same. Like a house in Pasco is not priced the same as the same house in Richland, Kennewick, Finn City. So you have to look what I call your micro market. There might be an average price. We talk about it all the time for the area or the type of house that you have. But there's going to be a micro market for that house, usually based upon city or location with certain boundaries. And so you look at that and make sure that you are priced properly for the location. Because a lot of times people say, "Well, Lance, I see houses all the time that are getting $500 for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath." And I pull up the location and we're selling a house in Pasco. And all of those ones you just showed me are in Kennewick. Okay. And so those aren't going to compare apples to apples. So those are the biggest things that we're telling sellers to be prepared to sell in the summer market. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. But it's only a 30-minute show, John. And so that's what we can get through today. If you have any questions about that, we went kind of quickly through some of those last ones. We're doing this all week, every day. Go to kenmoreteam.com. It's a busy time of year. It's some of the best months coming up to be on the market and get sold. Yes. Or if you haven't sold and you need a second opinion, we're doing confidential consultations with that as well. So go to kenmoreteam.com, shoot us a message, and we will be right back here next week.